to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll observe a moment of silence. Thank you. Public comment this morning.
Yes, we have 4 individuals signed up to speak. The first person signed up is Miss Mary Plant.
Can we switch because we're doing it in tandem, please?
Yes,
Okay.
switching sequence for 2 speakers, certainly.
Miss Jackie Peachtree.
Good morning. My name is Jackie Peachtree. I live at 1005 Mickleton Lane here in Peachtree City. I've been a resident for over 5 years now. I have 5 kids. I am president of the McIntosh Swim Team's Booster Club, and I have 4 swimmers in the competitive swim team. And we were really excited to see the Parks and Rec plan come to fruition and see it on paper. Really applaud you all for your efforts with that. And just wanted to give our top reasons why we think that an aquatic center should be at the top of the list when we start doing city planning. Okay, so our first reason is the current Kedron Aquatics facility is on its last leg. It's not been well maintained and it's closed regularly for emergency maintenance. The current Band-Aid approach will not continue to work. Investing millions of dollars to get it working properly doesn't make sense because our community has already outgrown it. The second reason is the people want it. It was in the survey and it was high up in the survey. A lot of people come to Peachtree City because of the recreation, the cart paths, the schools. And while there's plenty of opportunities for main sports, there's not an aquatics facility to accommodate all of those who want to participate in the ever popular water activities. The community's voice was heard and the community's involvement is going to be needed to make sure it happens. The third reason is swimming is open to all, no matter their age level or ability. Competitive swimming is unique in that all ages and skill sets can participate, and it's never cut in the high school swim teams, which is really unique because it gives our kids something to do after school that's not only active but also teaches discipline. No swimmer ever gets cut, but we have a summer league that has 1,200 swimmers in it, but our facilities can only accommodate about 160 swimmers with a wait list throughout the year. We'd like to see that grow so that more kids who want to participate and get more in touch in the community have that opportunity. The other thing is that Peachtree City high school swimmers have an average GPA of over 4.0, which is really impressive because most of them swim every day. So the sport promotes academic success along with athletic achievement. And the fourth reason, Fayette County high school swimming is underperforming, and it's just a little embarrassing, and here's why. We have 5 teams, and because of the facilities are so small, they're one of the only sports in Peachtree City at the high schools that can't practice every day because they don't have the facilities to host all of them. So we have the option of them doing only 3 practices per week, where all the other sports, which are a lot smaller, have facilities and are able to do their practices daily. Due to the lack of facility, the county championship isn't even held in Peachtree City. We pay thousands of dollars to have it in Cobb or Coweta County, which is really, I'd love to see that money stay here in the city. An interesting fact too, of all the Fayette County schools, 85% of the swimmers live in Peachtree City. So it is really a lot of Peachtree City residents. And
Your time has expired.
I'm passing
Thank
over to
you
Mary.
for your comments.
Great. That was great timing. Hi, my name is Mary Plant. My husband and I moved here 30 years ago. We were pregnant with our first child, and we chose Peachtree City for, of course, the schools, the cart paths, and the vast array of recreational program options. Both my husband and I were Olympians, and we truly believe in what sports teach children and young adults. Ironically, the sport that I won 3 gold medals in, made 3 Olympic teams in, and held world records in for over 20 years, is a sport that's almost least accessible here in Peachtree City, and that is the sport of swimming. So I too will continue the top 6 reasons for why we need an aquatics facility, but it's certainly near and dear to my heart for all that I got out of the sport. So Jackie did the first 4. Number 5, aquatics programs are for all ages and all abilities. Seniors currently fill up water aerobics programs throughout our community. The Piedmont Hospital program, which people flock to, has a wait list every week, is our understanding. It's a no-impact exercise for all. It's a total body workout for all. Swimming is one of the rare sports that you have to engage your core to do it properly, and that's so important for lifelong health. It improves cardiovascular fitness for all. It's an ideal physical therapy, which is why I'm back in the water these days, because I've had some injuries, and it's injury prevention. It's a great exercise for people with disabilities. Youth programs, including a large age group swim program, competitive swim program, and then we could add an elite swimming program, and water polo, which I believe is now a college scholarship sport, could be offered. Things like lifeguard training could be offered. And social programs such as Parents' Night Out events can be offered. The 6th reason, which is one of the most important to understand, is a properly built and programmed aquatics facility will not be a tax burden on the citizens of Peachtree City and Fayette County. There are many examples of properly built pools that run enough programming and bring in enough income that they actually work in the black or maintain in the black, or able to maintain in the black throughout the year over year. So in conclusion, this is such an opportune time for Peachtree City to build a new aquatics facility. The current facility is dilapidated, it's not gonna last much longer, and the citizens have spoken that they want an aquatics facility here in Peachtree City. There is a small army of people who are ready to give input and help make this happen so that it's accessible and self-sustaining financially. Thank you.
Next person signed up to speak is Darren Polish.
I come bearing litter. Good morning, council members. My name is Darren Polish. I live at 215 Spear Road. I recently reached out to Council Member Brown regarding the growing amount of litter I am seeing in various areas around Peachtree City, and she encouraged me to come before you today. Now, before I begin, full disclosure, I live on the north side of Spear Road between Robinson and Mike Hyde's annexed property. While I'm not a citizen of Peachtree City, I live practically on the border, and I spend 98% of my time here. Shopping, dining, entertainment, and my kids even go to Huddleston Elementary. I go to Fayetteville for Lowe's, and that might be it. Maybe an occasional meal here and there. So I travel the roads and golf cart paths on a regular basis. Now, over time, I've seen an increase in litter, which detracts from the beauty of these winding roads and paths that cut through the forested landscape. Every day, as I make my way from Robinson Road down Spear to enter my driveway, I see more and more discarded trash on the roadsides. I chat with friends and neighbors and ask, do you notice the litter around Peachtree City? And they all roll their eyes and they say, yeah. So I know it bothers them too. The other day, for the second time in months, I put on my neon green safety vest, my gloves, I picked up a trash bag and grabber and headed out to Spear Road and walked west toward Robinson. I only ended up walking 332 steps. Everyone's got these fancy little step trackers these days, right? So, and I collected all of this litter. I didn't even make it to Robinson because my bag was full. One side of the street, 332 steps. I see the same level of litter on sections of Robinson Road, Peachtree Parkway, and various other roads and cart paths. The photos that I have shared with you, if you were given them, represent this litter haul from just 2 days ago. And the ever-increasing litter on roadside and cart paths around Peachtree City is a problem. Do you know what the bigger problem here is? The bigger problem is the amount of litter that is from alcoholic beverages. People are drinking and driving, and then tossing their cans and bottles out of their vehicle onto the roadsides and paths. The next largest category is fast food trash. You down that Chick-fil-A and whoop, out the window it goes. It's not only Chick-fil-A, it's a lot of the others, Zaxby's, McDonald's. So action needs to be taken to decrease the growing presence of litter throughout the city. A possible public awareness program, volunteer litter patrol squads, something. Now, I'd be willing to meet with Councilmember Brown to brainstorm
time has expired.
ideas
Thank you
on
for your
actionable
comments.
events to help address the situation. I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next person signed up to speak is Keith Larson.
Good morning, Mayor, City Council members. I'm Keith Larson. I live in Sandown Creek in Peachtree City. I applaud your January approval of the 2025 Peachtree City Recreation Master Plan. The city has waited over 18 years for the City Council to approve a new plan to guide future parks and recreation projects and expansion and maintenance. Next week, you have a formal special called conference retreat that will include your review and prioritization of the new Recreation Master Plan proposed projects for the city staff to develop both conceptual designs and funding solutions. Let's review what's on the table. The Recreation Master Plan proposed 6 significant parks and recreation projects. They include Brayland Recreation Complex, the Jim Mead Recreation Center and Natorium. We already heard about that this morning. The pickleball courts at Mead Field, Pebble Pocket Park with a bunch of pickled peppers, okay, Battery Way Park, and Kelly Drive Park. We all recognize there are finite funding resources to execute over the $50 million plus, probably in counting what it could be, for all these possibilities proposed. Some of the projects in this plan were envisioned for funding in the 23 SPLOST. In others, the City Council must make prudent decisions on future prioritization and allocation of all funding sources. When the 2022 Council settled on the 2023 SPLOST project list that went to us voters, a compromise was made to include the pickleball courts with an understanding that the bathrooms at Battery Way would be included in the playground renovations project line. A lot of people don't know that the portalettes are a long-term Band-Aid. I was a volunteer in 2016 for the Southern Conservation Trust, and I brought to the city staff the growing health issues at Line Creek Nature Area as well as at Battery Way. And the city staff responded with the portalettes. We put the replacement bathroom with the 17 SPLOST at Line Creek. Who benefits? Well, the 300 members of the Peachtree City Running Club, the 300 members of the Tri Club, the 200 members of the Bicycle Club, the new ladies walking group with over 1,000 members in just 1 month and growing, and all city residents who go on the path past Battery Way. Thank you.
Thank you.
There are no further speakers.
All right. Next agenda item, quarterly reports. We have our award-winning fourth quarter 2024 reports. Council, any comments or questions? No. I just want to mention, because we get asked about this all the time, that the pedestrian beacon across Peachtree Parkway on the north side by the lake is completed and operational. And right now, we're reviewing bids for City Hall renovations that may result in some inconvenience or even a move out of City Hall for a few months this summer. We'll hear more about that from our city manager as we move forward. Sometimes you have to take on the inconvenience in order to make progress. Work session discussion items. Can I get a motion for an agenda?
He's here now.
Mr. McPherson is here. All
Okay,
right.
great.
Work session discussion items. Michael McPherson,
Michael, you're
welcome. And you're on, man. Poor Michael, he just sat in traffic for like an hour and a half.
Let me fill out your
Traffic, we
big
don't have
check
traffic.
real quick here. Justin, do you know the total amount of the award?
Dr. Tabb does.
Yes, sir. It's the 20,000.
Woo. Michael, would you prefer that we move forward to the next agenda item while you prepare?
You could do that.
Yeah, we'll do that. All right, we'll move to the feasibility. Council, do you have any objections if we just move to item B? feasibility Study. All right, we have a feasibility study for connection of McIntosh High and Booth Middle via path system. Dan Davis.
Big Dan.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, members of the council. It's Dan Davis, Integrated Science and Engineering. We have been working for years with staff to achieve a connection at this general location. Obviously, the construction of the middle school has heightened that need. I have some drawings to share with you this morning on how this might work. The nature of the drawings when you see them, and all of you I'll mention as I've spoken with you over the couple of years, or most of you anyway, have been pretty interested in the technical nature of this. So what I brought to share with you this morning would not, when projected on the screen, would not, it'd be hard to understand. And so I brought all actual drawings that we could lay out on this table here in front of you, if you're okay. And I'll approach the table and we can just all stand around and I can share it with you right on the spot, if that's okay.
Absolutely. Do we have those drawings to put up on the screen? I know we had them in an email
Got them in his hand.
up on the screen.
Oh, I don't know if we got them on the screen.
Justin sent them to us in an email. It would be.
I could put, I mean, Dan, if you want me, just so the residents can see something, I could put that one with the options.
That's
I
the
could
best
send
one
it
to put up there.
That's the
Okay.
one.
Yep.
I got to send it to y'all real quick.
Thank you, but we
But y'all
can,
can
we
go
can move
ahead.
forward, thank you.
Okay.
I'd like our citizens to see this. This is very exciting. We have $4 million in the 2023 SPLOST for a split grade crossing, something to get us from one side of 54 to the other. And now here we, safely, and now here we have something that we get to look at, see and touch and feel.
Anybody?
All right.
Let's go.
It's coming up to the screen, I promise.
I was going to put it, yeah.
Frank, you want a chair? I'll bring this. All right. Okay.
You're doing great, Frank. It's going to seem strange speaking to you through a mic, but since we're right here. Okay, so if you can get a general idea of where you are, here's the cemetery. There's Carriage Lane Presbyterian Church, the high school, Holy Trinity Church, Robinson Road.
Gas station.
That's right. So these are the options that have been identified, and I tried to force about another 3 or so down this way, and they're just not going to happen.
Because utilities.
Mostly the cemetery. It's a barrier for us, and they do have. I'll show you more here in a second, but they do have grave plots planned right up pretty close to the edge of the right of way. Those are the cheaper plots, by the way. Yeah.
Feet back from this, from the basically side curb. So they'll come within 20 feet of the road.
That's them right there. You can, this is the right-of-way line right here,
Okay.
and you can see this is the edge of the grave plots right here.
And the distance on that is 20 feet?
It's,
What it was?
this is a 30 scale, so that's about, it may be 30 feet.
Maybe 30 feet?
Yeah.
Is that just the road easement, or is that the utility easement too? Because there's overhead power lines there too.
There is not an official utility easement there.
I had to log in.
Yeah. So Coweta Fayette EMC went in there without an official easement, and they're actually onto the cemetery property a little bit. But, yeah. That's between them and the cemetery, that's right. So this is just a barrier for us. And then we have Carriage Lane Church here. So, yeah, the other options, and then I looked at a very complex option and very expensive option I'll mention, because I've seen one in Florida. I looked at putting one right here at Walt Banks Road. And actually, the bridge would be centered right on the intersection with traffic signals on either side. That's going to be a very expensive option. I don't think it's, especially given that we have some other options here. So these two right here, immediately to the west, right here, these do not meet the sight distance requirements with the DOT.
For the actual traffic lights?
That's right. Well, the distance, in other words, if you're coming this way, right, you're not going to be able to see that as you're going this way for an over. And I'll mention the DOT has been wonderful to work with on this. We've been back and forth with them for the last 3 months or so. They have been just extending a lot of help. These two have fallen out, so it left us essentially with two alternatives, which is this one here on this side of on the west side of Robinson Road, and these two options down here, which are near Petrol Point. The staff was not very excited about something being this far, too far west, and you know, trying to connect into the existing cart. These dash lines here represent the existing cart path system, and this is significantly west. This will work from a sight distance standpoint, and an overhead would work here as well as would a tunnel. And I was asked to look at tunnel locations through here as well. So this one right here works as a tunnel. It would involve the acquisition of this small parcel right here. There's nothing on that's vacant, and we'd have to zigzag up to get to this grade elevation. I don't think it is. Church's Holy Trinity's right here. This is the gas station. This is yes, Green BP. That's it. Yeah. So this works with some zigzag here, acquisition of this parcel, and then on the downstream side, we'd have to get all the way to here for it to daylight, if that makes sense to you. I think the last thing we looked at actually putting some tunnels here.
Yeah, that's what I thought, maybe there was a topography there, you'd go toward it.
And what we end up with is a big sag like this that would, in the tunnel, that would collect rainwater. It can be done, money and machines.
This one here, from the little triangle to the other.
Yeah, it'd have to daylight in this direction significantly, probably down in here somewhere.
So that kind of leaves us here.
No, we got one that works. This is the one that appears to be the winner. It's in this direction. What's nice about this one right here is it ties real nicely into McIntosh High School. When we get to this point right here, it connects really nicely into. You can faintly see that. I don't think this is an official car path right there, but And working with the school board, I'm sure we could work this out. It would involve an easement here between the Colwell Banker and this parcel right here. We could situate it right up the property line. I don't think it would be too much of an intrusion on anybody. At this landing location right here, this parcel right here is owned by the city. We need this zigzag again to come down, to bring it down. And by the time we get to this location right here, it would be at grade.
Petrol Point here, that's Petrol Point going through here?
That's right. Is it what?
We're gonna be going across Petrol Point.
This is
Oh, it's
Prime Point.
Okay.
That's right.
Point's down here, okay.
And this is, as far as a golf cart coming out right here, you'd have decent sight distance going both directions. On this side right here, and I've looked up this used to be a Piedmont a long time ago, and I don't know. Yeah. So I've been out here and looked at this. We got to do the same thing. We've got to get down for ADA slope. So if we can work with these folks and acquire that or get an easement from it, this would slope down to slope down to about right here, and at about this point it reaches grade, and that's for an ADA slope. Yeah.
Go around the gas station.
Would go around the gas station, out and across right in here somewhere, and then you're home free. You're on the cart pass and you're headed towards the booth.
You can also,
And I'm gonna.
so this is Stagecoach here?
That's Stagecoach.
Okay.
Yes. And one of the objectives also is to get it connected across here, as you well know. So this problem right here, we've admired, Dave Borkowski and I have admired that for about, maybe we'll get it before we retire. And I got an update for you on that too. So as you can see, this would feed across like this. So you'd be able to get from here over to here. And you'd be able to get to the schools, and you'd be able to get from McIntosh to Booth, et cetera.
The reason why it can't go straight down here is it comes in this way to go straight down instead of around this property. Is this an acquirable piece of property for us?
That I don't know.
Because it's empty.
Yeah, this gets into, so these folks have stormwater management ponds all through here, and that's going to be a issue for us. What I would love to be able to do, just thinking ahead, and I've spoken with the DOT about this, is I think this one day we may all be gone. Okay. One day, and we may all be gone, but one day I think this intersection needs to do something, probably like this, to improve the capacity. Right. So with that being done and putting in a couple of lanes here and what have you, there's going to be an encroachment on this stormwater management pond, and it's got to be displaced somewhere. So I see it being displaced over here, somewhere in here.
This is our property here?
This belongs to a resident.
Okay, resident.
Yeah.
Anything we talk about, we don't own.
No. Except for.
What is your recommendation for, is it this?
That's my recommendation at this point, is to proceed with continued dialogue with the DOT, and I've done some additional surveying. I've got to get back with Daniel Trevorrow and Tyler Peak to get them the actual bottom of that signal. We went out and surveyed it just to confirm. I don't know how much longer you want me to go. I brought.
I do have a question before you go.
Yes, sir.
In this location, I think that's fine so far, but you only looked at a bridge here, not a tunnel.
Yeah.
Is the topography acceptable for a tunnel there?
It's not. It's not.
And the reason is?
It's rainwater.
It's again, it's the
Yeah.
water stuff?
Yeah, and if we do anything that's a sag, a tunnel where it doesn't daylight, then we wind up with having to put a pump in there for rainwater. And it becomes a maintenance headache and mildew and all that type of thing. I thought y'all might get a kick out of this. Tell me when I'm taking up too much time, but this just gives you an idea of what we had to do. These are the bridge locations right here. And you've heard of sight distance. This is kind of a reverse sight distance issue where we're not thinking about a car being able to see over a hill. We're thinking about a truck and somebody at a 13.5 foot. So from 13.5 foot up, they've got to be able to see under that bridge, see the traffic light. And so these are lights we went out and surveyed right there. And so you can see that
What's the intersection here?
this is Robinson Road, right? And so this is the proposed bridge, and you can see that as we do a line of sight underneath that bridge, this truck at 13.5 feet up easily see the traffic light turning red or green. That one's deficient. It's below them.
So we're talking about this.
That's the.
This is the only one, this doesn't make it.
That's right. That's right.
And this one is acceptable.
This one, the DOT is, and I've got a follow-up meeting with them, but they wanted me to survey these, which I have done. You can see I've got the elevation shown, but I just haven't had a follow-up meeting with them yet. Chris Hobby and I went down there, and they were just great.
It is so great to have that good relationship.
It's awesome. Yes.
It's awesome. Makes
Yes.
everything possible.
And the District 3 folks, they're just tremendous. I work with the other district. The District 3 folks stand a little bit head and toes. Yeah, they're great.
Okay.
Do you want to see the cemetery at all, or talk about the cemetery?
I'd like to, anybody else?
We got time?
Did you analyze the cart path going along in front of the cemetery?
That's it. That's what y'all want to see?
That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Because we walked it and
So we met with the DOT about this. This is the work Dave Borkowski and I did several years ago.
This is Publix down here?
That's correct. Steinmart right there. Yeah, there. That's right. We had gotten into conversations with the cemetery. The speed limit at the time through here was 55. This with clear zone was going to, as you can see, the cross hatched. And when you do something like this with the DOT, it has to be 10 foot wide. That's their it has to be multi-use. It has to be 10 foot wide. So what you're seeing here, 5 years ago, met their criteria. We had a lot of conversations with the cemetery, and we were proceeding into a memorandum of understanding with them. It was going to involve building a decorative wall along here. The cemetery was very uptight about golf carts coming along here while they're performing services, which I understand. It did not encroach on any of their grave plots, and in this yellow area that you can see right here was what they wanted. They wanted a 10-foot strip to be able to access their equipment around here for the future. So what's happened is that the posted speed limit on Highway 54 has been dropped to 45 miles an hour. And when that happens, the clear zone, this clear zone, you can see the minimum clear zone at the time was 28 feet. Now it's going to be about 24 or so. So that's helped us. And Justin doesn't want to hear this, but we're not going to be able to get we're not going to be able to completely contain this within the DOT right away, I don't think. Again, I'm having some follow-up meetings with them. And an option I've thought of is to actually make this side here, Dave, make it a urban section with curb and gutter and storm pipe. And I think if we did that, maybe we could get further, and then we could incorporate some median walls. But this is a little bit of a work in process. So we're going to be able to hopefully get as far off the cemetery as possible we've still got to cross their entranceway. And if you can visualize the entrance in the cemetery, they have these decorative walls here. This crossing this close to the intersection concerns me a little bit, but I guess we have it in several other locations in Peachtree City. So, you know, if you're in a golf cart and you're headed, traveling this direction right here, and you got the music blaring, you may not necessarily see a car coming in here slowing down at 35 miles an hour to whiz in like that. That's a little bit of a concern, but we've got them elsewhere in Peachtree City.
Stop signs and stuff will should be on the cart path.
Stop signs can be,
Stop.
that's correct.
This is gonna need barrier between the highway and the cart path under the new scenario with the 24 feet.
Yes, sir.
That's still need that.
Some kind of barrier.
Have they given us any
Or-
indication of what type of barrier that's gonna be needed there?
We haven't gotten into that detail. Yeah, we're not going to put up guardrails, I'll tell you that. You would not like that.
Yeah, I would want something because I don't like the idea of having one go the other way.
Right.
Either cart paths going on or cars coming on cart path. That is dangerous for the citizens, but I gotta leave it in your hands to come up with some kind of barrier there.
Where the existing shrubs are all in front of the cemetery, is that basically going to be where the,
We're going.
that's where the crosshatch lines are, correct?
That's correct. That'll come out.
Shrubs will come out, everything gets leveled.
That's right.
Is there the full 10 feet you're on top of the hill, or do we have to do a lot of landfill? Or, I'm trying to find out, is it just like getting the easement from the cemetery, or like building up the whole there?
That's the issue. That's exactly the issue. You got the insight. Is the drainage here on the it's a ditch. It's a drainage ditch. It's a typical highway ditch. And this berm was put in right here. Apparently, the city was granted that berm, landscape grant. The church has got a good bit of consternation with that berm, because what happens is all this highway water is coming off of here, and it hits that berm, and it can't get down into the ditch. And so what it does is it peels around the corner right here, and about right in here, it drops into the church, and it's causing them some headaches. So the church would like to see that berm go. If we were able to convert this to an urban, what they call an urban section, then there would be curb and gutter there, and catch basins and what have you, and all these drainage issues go away.
Basins that would drain into the berm.
Well-
The other side of the ditch.
Well, what we do is we would situate some catch basins and probably pipe it like this down in this direction.
So you're not gonna just leave it and put it into the ditch, and take it away and put it in.
The ditch will gone. Yeah, the ditch will be gone completely.
Got it.
They have some very ornamental trees right here at that entrance too. They're very pretty. So that's another reason it's kind of hard to encroach in that direction. So it's a work in progress. The next step is for me to continue working with the DOT. If the preferred option works, and then if I can get the DOT on board with converting this to an urban section, then I'll work with staff to advance both these options to maybe a 30% design, which I can then do a cost estimate from and come back to you folks and say, here's where we are and here's how much money we're going to need. Yeah.
Timing,
Um,
because you gotta deal with GDOT, of course.
I believe I could be back here within 2 months. Yes. Oh, not with 30% design, no. I can have the answer from the DOT within, I can have the answer from the DOT within 30 days, I believe, next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then a 30% design probably 3 months after that, 2 to 3 months after that.
So we're looking mid-year.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask some questions?
Yes.
Should we ask from up here so people can hear it, or what do you
He's
want?
got a microphone if you want to point to anything up there.
Can we go back to the,
Follow the voice.
okay, we're gonna go back to the bridge. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so this one right here, I'm pointing for everyone to see, this is the Robinson Road crossing, where, can you tell me, this is just at grade? Can you tell me a little bit about that crossing and what it looks like?
That would be indeed an at-grade crossing, and I think we would have to do probably a hawk signal at that location.
That's one of my biggest concerns with that concept, is we gotta figure something out.
yeah, that's one of my biggest concerns with this concept is this is a major arterial, and just having an at grade there is kind of eh.
Yeah, because what you have in the afternoon is that this light gets backed up a lot. This is a long light. If you're coming from Robinson, you're taking a left onto Highway 54, and you're going west, this traffic right here gets backed up a whole lot. My guess is there's going to be traffic that's sitting across that right here. Also, there's pylons right here at Stagecoach, and the effect the reason that those are there, from my understanding, are the people going west on Highway 54 turning onto Robinson, that if people are going left onto Stagecoach, it's going to create a backup going to Highway 54 right there. My guess is a hawk light that's even closer to the highway right there is going to have the same effect.
Just as we sit here, as you discuss, as you talk, you know, what we could do is come further down this way, and then get over.
Yeah.
There's already a crossing there.
Right. Well, and then I also worry about how close this is to this, because sometimes, so let's say you're rushing to make a green light, a green arrow, and you're turning here. If people are crossing here, you can't see these people turning.
Sure.
And if you're speeding to make that light, and some kid's crossing right here, that's I don't love it.
Yes.
Is that another possibility? And I know it's obviously we're talking about the safety of children going over here and citizens, but is this another bridge issue?
Money. Well, there's a crossing further down at Robinson Woods already, so it would be, for us three, it'd probably be a matter of talking it through of, does that crossing stay? Can it go up north a little further and still be away from this stuff safer?
Sure.
And would there be a good place for a hawk signal if we're going to add capacity with the bridge coming through?
Mm-hmm.
That would, yeah, because that's really close, you know, to school traffic, 54 traffic. We may need to push it further south, and then look at that other crossing that already exists, and look, yeah, just look at all of it.
Because I think, and I don't know exactly what's for sure going to happen, but anything that gets added to McIntosh, they don't have land around them. Like, they're at capacity. And not to say that I know what's happening. I'm not on the school board, but there is land around Booth. And in a conversation that I had, there is a possibility of some fields that McIntosh uses that would be at Booth, meaning you would have more kids that are using golf carts or walking or whatever coming that way, making an increased traffic flow here. And so, you know, and that would be in the future, you know, maybe not so much at this moment, but it is a possibility. And so I just want to make sure we get this.
Okay.
Not to say that this is bad. Thank you. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, this is an update, and the main point is we have something that works, and we've been wrestling that for a good while. And just to help you understand too, this along here, Dave Borkowski and I have looked at 16 different ways to get from this area over to this area, and this is really pretty much the only way. We've spoken with neighbors all down in through here. Nobody wants a cart path easement through their yards. And
All right. One last question, hopefully. Basically, is this on? Basically, you talked about going on an angle across this intersection. Here it seems to be, because of the connections to the paths and everything else, it may be because you're going to have to change this and change that. What about going straight across here on an angle and have the lights on that bridge? And yes, it's more expensive. You said that already. But is it any less expensive once you start adding in all these other things in? If you then make a direct connection from one side to the other side, because most of the traffic is going to go this way, not necessarily this way. Just a thought. Yeah, down Robinson. Because the path is right here, so you put them already on this side.
You're talking for a bridge?
Yes, for a bridge.
Okay, the problem for a bridge going across that intersection from there to there is that the topography over here is way low.
Yes, I know it is.
So that does not bode well for a bridge. Not there.
Again, I was just trying to think out of the box, to try to eliminate some of these other connections and going
Yeah.
across streets like Laura brought up. I agree with you. That's a nasty intersection up there.
Right.
When you're coming out of this. I've driven this. In my case, I've seen it backed up, and people get a little antsy in that particular area. But I was thinking, why, if we're going to spend that kind of money, let's just put it in once and for all across there, just to look at it to see if that's going to be an alternative that might work to eliminate all these other connections. Just a thought.
Very squeamish about this one, but they were like, let us hear more. There's, in Columbus, Georgia, they have signals hung on the bridge there at the big intersection with Victory Drive. And it operates like this, you know, like this scenario. So it's something we could explore.
I wouldn't spend a lot of time on it. We've got engineering experts who have spent months on this. Seems like this is the recommendation.
Makes sense.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Dan. It's not in a race right now.
Item next, 2024 Georgia Municipal Association Safety Grant and Liability Management Grant. And it's my pleasure to introduce Michael McPherson from GMA, who has driven a long way at a very early hour this morning. Morning, Michael.
Good morning. Sit this here. And then this is for you, Madam Mayor. This is your Mayor's Leadership Academy certificate.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I appreciate it. Last August, GMA put together a first ever program for mayors to get together, and what a great event and such a rewarding community of practice to be together with other mayors for a couple of days. Thanks very much. I appreciated it. It was time very, very well spent.
My pleasure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
So,
Yes.
so your safety grant check is a function of you, Peachtree City, being a member of the Workers' Comp Program and the Risk Management Program. Cities that are members of each program have the ability to apply for a grant of up to $10,000 in each program, and you have successfully done so. The money is typically for safety equipment for your employees to keep them safe and doing their job well protected. So we appreciate your continued application for the grants, and we hope that we can take a picture with you so that we can highlight the program and highlight your great work you're doing here.
Thank you so much. Let's hear it for our.
Thank you.
Would you mind coming around behind here and we'll get pictures up here? Would that be okay? Can we make that work, Wilson?
Madam Mayor and Council, if I could really quick, for your picture, if you don't mind, our human resources staff, Ms. Dealadee, worked really hard with our public safety departments to get their equipment to be reimbursed. So I want to give her the credit for this as well because it was her baby. So if you don't mind, if she could be in your picture with you all, I
Absolutely.
would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Would you join us too? Second.
You want to hold the other side?
We'll go that way. Good, we'll move the seats that way.
Oh, you want to move them out of it?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks very much. Thank you, and congratulations.
Get in line.
Get squared off. Can you get us all in?
Thank you.
We could step behind the check too if we need to. Thank you so much.
$20,000. You got the applied for, and you got the max in both programs.
Oh, we have one more.
One more.
Take it away.
Oh, Mom.
All right. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, my pleasure.
We got it. You want to move back?
Good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right. Now to drive back, right? To drive back.
Well, I've got stops to make along the way. So. There you go.
See you soon, Michael.
See you.
I wasn't planning on standing up so long. Thank you. Can you chair you?
All right. Item C, renew, trap, neuter, vaccinate, and return program with Fayette Humane Society. It is my pleasure to introduce Marcia Hendershot.
Good morning. I am a volunteer with the Fayette Humane Society in their CAT program. Specifically, I'm the director of their Trap, Neuter, Vaccinate, Return program, which applies to community cats. So those of you who don't like cats, you'll find something of interest in this. Those of you who love cats, you'll also find something of interest here. TNVR, Trap, Neuter, Vaccinate, Return. With written permission of property owners, we trap cats. We take them to low-cost spay-neuter clinics, get them fixed, vaccinated for rabies, distemper. They come back with an ear tip, typically the left ear trimmed straight across the tip of the ear to indicate that they've gone through this process. And then, more than likely, we take them right back. We return them to their homes. This is a program administered by the Fayette County Animal Control. We fought for close to 10, maybe more years to get it in place because under Fayette County ordinance, we were doing something illegal in two aspects. Number one, we were not having cats on a leash. Yes, there is a cat leash law in Fayette County. And secondly, we were abandoning them, even though in our eyes, we were not abandoning them, we were taking them right back to their homes. So it took some time, but it's now legal. It is on the books for Fayette County, which means Peachtree City is one of the 5 municipalities affected by this. So we can trap in Peachtree City, but we just need written permission from the property owners. And that's where you come in. We had a contract with the city. It expired in December. I'm here to appeal that it be renewed. And I would like it amended. Mr. Meeker, this is where you come into play, I think. The old contract listed 3 specific addresses. I think maybe they were hot spots at the time when the contract was first drawn up. I would like it to be amended to just a very broad statement saying that we have permission to trap on Peachtree City property. There's another portion of it, honestly, I did not understand it. It talks about the term, and it says, this agreement begins on November 1st, 2020, and shall expire on December 31st, 2021, provided, however, that this agreement shall automatically renew for 3 additional terms of 1 year each, beginning on January 1st and ending on December 31st of each succeeding year, unless either party provides written notice to the other party of its intention to not renew this agreement, which notice must be received in writing not less than 60 days prior to the expiration of the term current of this agreement, which I didn't understand. So I would like it written in some fashion such that it's a little easier to
I will
understand.
do my best in that regard.
Okay.
But generally speaking, service agreements have to terminate in the year in which they were entered. That's why you had that short period from November till December 31st.
Okay.
There's a state law on that issue that we have to
Oh,
comply with.
okay.
Then you can have automatic renewals that run from January 1 to December 31 of each succeeding year.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I'll see if I can't cut down on
Well,
some of the verbiage.
So I was going to say, the version in the packet, we have changed it to all city properties.
Great.
To city-owned properties for the consideration of council.
Great.
And the specific clause you mentioned with the term as well, it's pretty similar, but this agreement begins on March 1st, 2025, expires on December 31st, 2025, 1 year. Provided, however, this agreement shall automatically renew for 1 year terms, beginning on January 1st, ending on December 31st of each succeeding year, unless either party provides written notice to the other party of its intention to not renew this agreement, which notice must be received in writing not less than 60 days prior to the expiration of the current term of this agreement. So we basically took out the 3 year of renewals and made it indefinite renewals
Okay.
unless either party gives notice, which is,
Okay.
like Ted said, we have to have 1 year terms.
All right. I understand. Now, Justin, I'm sorry, did you have something else? Mr. Meeker? Okay. Justin, you had raised some questions and emails back and forth, and I answered those questions. I understand you distributed
did.
my outline to everyone. I can speak directly to each of those questions, or I can just go
I would
sit
just
down.
ask council if they have questions they want to ask you while you're here.
How long have you been doing this, Marcia?
8 years. I'm coming up on 9, starting next month.
And what would happen if we didn't have this program?
There would be just the amount of cats that I have trapped. I've trapped over 4,000. And just to educate you all, you can tell your neighbors this, and we have someone here in this room who has used our services.
I knew it.
We
No,
knew.
no surprise to us.
No. Mr. Cat.
You have lots of cats, and here's the little spiel I give. And if you take away nothing else from what I've said, I hope you understand this and tell people who start feeding cats. The typical scenario is the phone call we get, a stray cat showed up, and it was so cute, and I started feeding it, and then it turned out to be a girl, and she had kittens, and they were so darling, and then the kittens started having kittens, and that's when the panic sets in. And it's just crazy because these female cats here in Georgia, where the weather is warmer, they can get pregnant 3 to 5 times a year. I had one female cat, she was carrying 9 kittens in one litter. Incest means nothing amongst the cats. They're only pregnant for 2 months. So you rapidly get, to answer your question, you rapidly get a lot of cats
Okay.
without the
Counsel?
program. So just for those of you who may not have seen this, I'll throw out some statistics. Last year, countywide, this is just me, the one oh no, I'm sorry. This takes into account everyone who traveled, and we paid for. Fayette Humane Society paid for. Last year, 862 cats, 264 of them were trapped in Fayette County. So we service other counties. Poor Spalding County, they have no Humane Society, they have no trappers, so I try to help them out. Last year in Peachtree City, there were 32 that got trapped. Sometimes we can get them adopted out, and 4 did get adopted out. So that's it in a nutshell.
Council, any questions?
Can we call you directly?
Yes, you may.
I've got 2 neighborhood cats that continue to come in my yard and go after my wife's birds. Of course, she gets mad at me, and I'm not going to do anything to go out and get those cats.
Well, they would be returned.
But they would be returned.
Yes, that's
neutered.
part of the
There'll be
program.
no further ones, right?
Yeah, but they would be fixed, and through attrition. To give you an example, over in Fayette County, there was a colony, and they had a feeder, which is always good. Having feeders prevents the dumpster diving and the cats roaming around. That's why you don't see cats roaming around much in Peachtree City. They've got dedicated feeders. I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
Just
About trapping and neutering
neuter
the
them
cats
and
that are
bring
in
them
his
back.
yard.
And the cats get returned. Over in Fayette County, there was a colony that had a feeder. There were about a dozen cats, and it's now down to 1. So
Just natural
you know,
attrition?
and- yes, they get hit by cars, disease. They're not being taken to vets. They're not getting preventive care. So eventually, those cats, the number would dwindle down to 0, but they will be returned unless they're real friendly and can get into our adoption system. But nobody wants a fractious cat.
Mm-mm.
Well, barn cats is an option, but I have to tell you, we do work closely with animal control. This is a program administered by animal control. But they understand that there are some friendly cats out there that do not deserve to be tossed back out where they came from. We have fosters here that take in some friendly cats. So if you have a friendly cat, we try to get it into foster. Animal control has cats that are on the chopping block. They're going to be euthanized because they're not adoptable. Someone has complained they're nuisance cats. They pick them up, they take them to animal control, there they sit. And we try to find barns for them. Those are our first priorities, the ones that are going to be euthanized.
Any other questions for Marcia?
Yeah, I'd like to, actually, it's not even a question. I'm the one that asked quite a few questions, and Justin got back to you, so I'm very happy to see this. The numbers are shocking. I hate to see feral cats. They have a hard life. It's a terrible thing, especially when they're having kittens. Can we push this forward as, like, the 3-page informational sheet that Marcia did for us answering all of our questions are probably questions our own citizens have with regard to cats that they see running loose in their own neighborhoods and why that should not be what they can do. I think we need to put something on our website to let people know who to call, what to do.
That would be wonderful.
So-
We don't dedicate ourselves to public service announcements, and if you all have a platform to do that, that would be great.
The other thing I'd like to say as a biologist is that cats are neuro-ovulators, which means the act of copulation stimulates ovulation, and that's why they get pregnant every time they are bred. Which is
Repeat
something.
that, please. They're
Cats are neuro-ovulators,
Okay.
which means that the act of copulation stimulates ovulation, and that is why every time they are bred, they get pregnant, because breeding stimulates them to ovulate. So once they're old enough to ovulate, that's why cats have so many litters of kittens, one right after the other.
Oh, interesting. And I forgot to mention, thank you for prompting me, they can get pregnant at 4 months.
Yes.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, any
I
other
got-
questions
Yep.
for Marcia?
I have a couple of questions, Marcia. Funding. Can you give us a little minute on how you're funded for all of this beautiful work that you're doing with?
We have a grant writer. As a matter of fact, her name is Sharon Marcasello, and she wrote a book recently called Trap, Neuter, what was it? Pardon me? Trap, Neuter, Die, thank you, yes. It's a cozy mystery, and it's kind of based on Peachtree City in Fayette County, if you have a chance to read it. But she is the person with expertise in applying for grant money. So that helps tremendously. We have some fundraisers. I don't know if any of you participated in the Holiday of Home tours. We have an upcoming golf tournament sponsored. But most of our operations are funded through donations.
Okay.
And, when I trap for people, depending on their income level, there are some people I don't dare ask for money. Many of the people, they have, ironically, the people with the biggest hearts to feed these little animals are the ones with the smallest pocketbooks.
Yeah.
But donations, we rely on them heavily.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, one more question. Obviously, cats and dogs would be in this program, correct?
Dogs are not in part of, we Fayette Humane take in dogs and get
But
them
not
adopted out.
not of the trapping and
But
all of that. That's
correct.
not dogs. Okay.
Correct.
Just trying to clarify.
Yes.
So really, it's all about cats at this point for
That's the
trapping.
tagline on my emails. It's all about the cats. Yes.
Okay. Just
Yes.
trying to get clarification. So
Sure.
if the citizens hear it, they
Sure.
know they've got some clarification on that. Thank you very
Okay.
much, Marcia.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Item D, renew Environmental Systems Research Institute contract. Mahadvi.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. My name is Madhuri Adapala, and I'm the GIS manager. I'm here today to present.
Could you put the microphone a
Yeah,
little
put it
lower? We're
closer
having
so we
trouble
can hear
hearing you.
Okay. Okay, I'm Madhuri Adapala, and I'm the GIS manager for the city, and I'm here to present the renewal for Esri software, which is the GIS software that we use. Many of the departments for the city actually use this software for collecting their data, editing their data, and doing analysis. Anything related to analysis, maps, or the web applications that we have on our website are done using this software. And the contract that I have today is for 3 years, and the total cost is $126,600, prorated over 3 years, and costing us $42,200 per year. And it is budgeted for this year for 2025, and it's going to be budgeted for the respective years until 2027 for this contract.
Okay. Questions? All right.
I
Thank you.
have one question. It's just that I saw when I read through this that everyone in Peachtree City can have access to this. Did I read that correctly?
The employees, the software itself.
It's an employee only.
Yes,
Okay, I
but the
misunderstood that.
applications that we have online,
Yep.
the citizens can go whenever
Okay,
they
good.
click the application, they are actually using the software.
Right, so I just wanted to make sure that they
Yes.
didn't have access to get in and change
Not this-
things
no.
in there. So they just have access
To
to view.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Item E, 2025 Municipal Elections IGA. Jasmine?
Good morning, Mayor and Council. In January of this year, you all approved the resolution to set the qualifying dates for this year's election, as well as the actual qualifying fees for the mayor post, as well as 2 additional seats. And at this time, this elections IGA would essentially allow Fayette County to serve as our election superintendent and absentee ballot clerk.
All right, thank you. Council, any questions? All right. Item F, Public Safety Answering Point Feasibility Study, Chief Murphy and Chief Moon.
Good morning, Mayor, Council, citizens. We're going to tag team this today. I'm going to start off with a background, and then I'll hand it off to Chief Murphy. And I've got notes with me today to try to keep me from going down rabbit holes. I'm going to try to be succinct. This is a very difficult problem for Chief Murphy and I. We're very passionate about it, and we just wanted to bring some things to your attention. In 2017, Fayette County SPLOST program included a new 800 megahertz radio system to provide reliable radio network to all county users in accordance with the E911 communications and 800 megahertz radio system IGA that went into effect back in July 1st of 2011. This IGA automatically renewed for a 10-year period in July 1 of 2021. Fayette County entered into a contract after the RFP process with E.F. Johnson on November the 8th of 2018. As of May 8th, 2024, E.F. Johnson had yet to present a completed radio system for the county's acceptance. Numerous significant performance issues persist regarding audio quality, reliability, consistency, and the capacity of the system as compared to the performance requirements that was outlined in the RFP.
and in the contract with E.F. Johnson. They gave it an approximate lead time of 18 months to 2 years to completion. We're almost 7 years into this project. These issues have been brought up continuously throughout implementation period by the users of the system through emails and numerous discussions at the communication board meetings. A letter was presented to the county manager and the Board of Commissioners on May 14th of 2024, stating that the municipal government users in the county had no confidence in the radio system, and we outlined the concerns. The technology presented by E.F. Johnson has demonstrated is not supportive of emergency radio communications. When our responders need rapid emergency communications in high priority incidents such as vehicle pursuits, use of force incidents, fire scenes, and any incident with multiple responders, the technology does not allow for consistent emergency communications, resulting in responders being cut off, unable to transmit, or having extremely distorted transmissions. We have situations, we have first responder firefighters in an active building that is burning. They can look at one another, but they cannot talk to one another over the radio system. That's just an example from Chief Murphy. These challenges to effective emergency communications have created a life safety issue. Our communications policy for high priority incidents have had to change to drastically reduce radio traffic to accommodate the limitations of the E.F. Johnson system. This reduction in radio traffic does not allow for effective supervisory or command interventions during these priority incidents. Several agencies have turned to using alternative communications technology due to the lack of confidence in the current technology by E.F. Johnson. Specific issues are, I'm about to outline, they are limited, but they still have far more. Signal outages. We have observed frequent signal outages causing radios to fail to receive or transmit traffic. This problem has been prevalent across various locations, significantly impairing our response capabilities during emergency operations. Busy signals. There have been multiple instances where the radio indicates a busy signal, even in areas known for good reception. Big box structures. Communication inside large retail warehouse buildings such as Walmart, Home Depot, and manufacturing facilities continues to be poor to non-existent. Volume inconsistencies. We have faced unpredictable transmission volume fluctuations that cannot be replicated reliably for troubleshooting. This randomness complicates communications clarity in critical moments. Fire station reception. Some fire stations, and even at the police department, if I'm sitting in my office, are experiencing failures in receiving call tones or radio traffic, potentially delaying our response times. This is the greatest impact for us on our personnel. These persistent issues have begun to weaken trust and reliability of our communication equipment. This has led to increased frustration and fear among our personnel concerned that their radios may fail when it is most needed. When it is a critical event, the most important thing our first responders have is their way to communicate with 911. That is their lifeline. This memo was signed by the Tyrone PD Chief, City of Fayetteville Fire Chief, City of Fayetteville Police Chief, myself, and Chief Murphy. I'll hand it off to Chief Murphy.
Chief Moon, one question. Did you say this has been going on for 7 years?
Yes, sir. And it is extremely frustrating that we are not seeing on the other side a sense of urgency in rectifying these problems. I was present at the May 14th meeting in 2024, and I was very direct with the staff from E.F. Johnson. Mr. Rapson was in the room with me, and we're still not seeing any improvements in the system.
Before you go, which other municipalities signed off on the same memo?
It's all the municipalities in the county. It's Tyrone, Fayetteville, and Peachtree City, both police and fire for Fayetteville and Peachtree City.
Okay. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, Mayor and Council. Chief Moon's been here and told you the problems. So what we did is we worked with the city manager's office to budget for a feasibility study for our own public safety answering point. So we went out to for the proposals. We had 7 different companies put in for those. We used a qualification and experience was 35%, project approach and commitments and assurances was 35%, and 30% was completed price for this project. So we used a metric to do that. We had it evaluated by police staff and fire staff, and we also got a 911 director from a local municipality for some expertise that we may not have. Out of those, we had a clear winner. Because we're not awarding it today, I'm not going to tell you who it is. The other part of this is it was under the budgeted amount that we budgeted between the police and fire budgets in operating. CIP. Yep. So when we bring this to you, we will have the name, the amount, and all of that at the very end, because we have 7 different vendors in there, and they are calling all the time trying to figure out if they won this or not. So the main thing that we asked them to do was, do we remain with Fayette County? Is there something that can be fixed? Do we start our own from the ground up? And we started everything. We asked them from everything from infrastructure to how many people we need to hire, everything. So very in depth on that. And then the other option was, do we go in with another regional 911 system and use their system instead of Fayette County's? So that's what we're asking from these proposers, is to get some actionable item out of them that we can move forward with, because we're currently frustrated with the current vendor. Any questions for me?
No, no.
I've got a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
For both of you.
Okay.
From what I hear from both of you, is that you're really not satisfied with the service we're getting from Fayette County. I'm sure that came across clearly in Chief Moon's and yours talking.
Yes.
We pay for that. We pay for service. Is that correct for the 911 service?
Our citizens pay.
Our citizens.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
an
That's what I was
email
going to
on
say.
it.
I was going to say that
service.
should be operating's coming out of your cell phones that are located in Peachtree City, and your landlines.
Okay.
So
Well, and there's the E911 tax that the
Yes.
county levies.
right.
So what I'm hearing is we're roll over a lot of rocks and just to make sure we've checked all things, and, do we do it ourselves? Do we update them? Do we go someplace else? All of that. And I think that's great to look at that kind of feasibility. But knowing what I've heard, or understanding what I've heard about, not only from you, but others, about our 911 and communication stuff, I'm thinking that it's going to come out that we ought to do it ourselves. But that's what the feasibility study is going to determine.
Yes, sir.
And to see if that's correct. And I know you'll bring costs back, and you'll bring understanding back a little more than what you've given today.
Yes, sir.
But you certainly have opened up Pandora's box with this, in my mind, which is good. Let's just see what kind of good comes out of this, not what evils come out of Pandora's box. I want to see the good come out of this so that we protect our citizens appropriately.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Those are the questions I had.
Any questions?
No,
No more. No. All right, thank you so very much. Item G happens to be purchase of radios for police SRO vehicles. Chief?
Kind of ironically, we roll into radios.
There we are.
Staff has recommended we have to purchase 6 in-car radio units from Radio One, who is the current branded vendor for our 911 system. The purchase of these radio system and the installation in the new patrol vehicles for the school resource officers we're putting into the elementary schools. The radio units will allow direct communication with Fayette County Dispatch and will operate on the same radio system as the current police department radios. The total purchase price for 6 in-car radios is $47,996.28, and this purchase will be reimbursed from the Board of Education once we finalize the bill when we put the SROs in place.
All right. Questions?
I
Thank you.
have a question, but let somebody else go first.
Nope, go
Anybody
ahead.
else?
Go ahead, Mr.
Okay.
Hill.
I love it. The problem I had, as I'm reading this today, is we're going to have SROs inside the school, but the radio is going to be out at their vehicle.
We
If
have a
there's
radio that's in the car and on their person.
They do have one on, okay. it
This
wasn't-
is for the in-car radio, not for the portable.
Okay, so
But
the
they'll have
portable,
both.
I didn't see anything about the portable, so that was the first thing to jump to my mind. But they're gonna be inside the school. Why would we worry about a radio out there if they're in school and something happens? but you've just answered that question. They have a portable with them, and it's got proper distance, it can reach the whole.
We've ordered the cars, so now we need to order the in-car radios.
Exactly. You've answered the question, Chief. Thank you so much.
Good. All right, thank you so much. Item H, consider RFP for ADA consultant, Dave Borkowski.
Yes, good morning, Mayor and Council. This topic of discussion, yes, is to consider hiring an ADA consultant. Where this all comes from is in order to remain compliant with federal requirements for our paving grants and all these other sorts of things, we must perform what's called an ADA transition plan, where we have to assess all of the things in the facility, in the city, from the buildings down to, you know, cart paths and curb ramps and all that stuff. We have to assess these, determine whether they're in compliance or not, and come up with costs to fix them if they're not, and put all this into a big, huge plan. So the topic for today is a small portion of this plan, where we need to hire a consultant to assess all of our city buildings and recreation facilities. You know, so, you know, looking at how they get into the building, what the accessible routes are, you know, do you need an elevator, all those things. How do they get to the recreation facilities? You know, how do they get to the bleachers from the parking lots? All those things need to be looked at. So we put out an RFP and for this, and we got four proposals. We in the RFP, we had a ranking system. You know, mostly it's qualifications, but we put an element in there for cost as well. So we had a group, we formed a group together of city staff to evaluate those, and we narrowed it down to two consultants. One was Accessibility Consulting Partners and Precision Infrastructure Management. So then once we narrowed it down to two, we then had interviews with them, with our staff that reviewed the proposals, and the clear choice after having interviews with them was ACP, Accessibility Consulting Partners. They just were really above board with how they were going to approach things and how they were going to capture the data. They had a sophisticated GIS procedure where they can locate things outside points and lines and give us all the data. So they were really the clear winner in our purview. So and they were also happened to be cheaper in price as well. So that tended to work out. Their proposal was for $69,759. So plan is to bring this back to the next council meeting and ask for permission to award this contract. Were there any specific questions?
Dave, what exactly are we going to get from this?
Several things. We'll get a GIS database
Okay.
that will have point features outside, like this path connecting to this facility needs a curb ramp. So we'll get that information in GIS form with all the data attached to it. We'll also get a PDF report of everything that they've done with all of the items that they've assessed, costed out, and ranked and prioritized for us to tackle. We'll get a big, thick report, and then we'll also get a big Excel spreadsheet where we can play with things like implementation times and rank things. So we're going to get a ton of data.
Who's been doing this for us now?
No one.
Well, we've had different things that you've had done. You've looked at the park paths, you looked at the roads, you had problems with the ADA there.
Oh, yes, those are other aspects of the plan. Currently, we've had internal staff looking at the curb ramps on streets to assess those, to inventory them, to come up with whether they're in compliance or not. That's one aspect that we're currently working on in-house. Another part of the plan will be tackling the paths we currently have another vendor that drove those paths with lasers and things, and our public works director was handling that. I think he's received the data. I'm not sure. So that will be another aspect that will be incorporated into the plan. But as far as facilities go, we've not done a wholesale assessment of our facilities for ADA.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Questions? Any other questions? We'll see it on our next agenda.
Okay,
Yes.
I've got one question for you, actually, got two questions for you. This is only just city property, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Just
just wanted to
city
make sure.
buildings and city rec.
And this means also roads and things like that, which Councilman DeStadio just said is going to be incorporated into this plan?
Those are being done separately.
Separately,
But
okay.
all of these things will be grabbed together and put into this big, massive transportation.
Okay. Great, and I think it's good that, you know, ADA, I'm sensitive to this stuff, so certainly this is good. When will it be completed once we give them the green flag?
We'll have a kickoff meeting, and we'll talk about, you know, how they're going to go around and who they're going to meet and all that stuff, and then we'll get a schedule from them for completion.
Right, and once we get this completed schedule, we go through all this work, takes whatever number of months or years to get it all done. Do we have a deadline of when we need to complete the ADA compliance?
Okay.
What date is that in the future that we have to be compliant?
Good question. We are working with the GDOT office on this, and they are working with us on a time frame. They have not set a date, you know, that you need to have this whole thing done by September. They haven't said that. It's showing progress because it's a big elephant.
Yes.
And you got to eat it just one bite at a time. So.
Okay, so we're looking at years before it's going to be all done, that's what my mind says after what you've just said.
I would guess, yeah, probably a year or year and a half.
Thank you, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. Agenda item I, discussion of project management for the Fire Station 85 construction project. Justin?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Council. I have a couple of PDFs to show. They're kind of like Dan's, except I did not print them out, so they're a little tough to see. If you want to zoom in a little bit more. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. So we are at the point with Station 85, which is the Southside Station. This is the land we acquired in a swap with Fayette County where the old animal shelter site is. The old animal shelter has been demolished at this point. Excuse me. Staff has gotten to the point with CPL, who's our architectural firm, with a grading and drainage plan that we have approved internally. We also have a floor plan that I'll show in a minute as well that is a drag and drop. So the floor plan was actually designed for Station 86, which is up on McDuff. Well, it's not up there. Planned to be up on McDuff. But that project does not have any funding. However, it was designed before this one. So we have a fully designed fire station for Station 86, but this is the one that's funded through SPOS 23. And so the floor plan, as we build new fire stations and as we replace some of the older ones, the plan is to have the exact same layout for every fire station we build moving forward. So the firefighters are very familiar with the layout. They don't get confused. Every fire station's the same. Be easy for them, functional, all that good stuff. So what you're looking at here is the overall plan of the site. Oh, I lost my pointer. To the right? Oh, there we go. So this is Highway 74 here. This would be a new driveway. I don't think this is using the current driveway. Am I correct, Dave? It'd be a new cut in. Yeah, so this would be the new cut in. This would be the station. You see this would be the pull around for the bay. So this would be the pull through. The bay would be here. It'd be a three bay station. Parking here. They pull out this way, go back to 74. And then we also have here for the grading plan to go ahead and grade over here flat for if, and we don't have any direct plans for this, but just in the future, this could be a building site as well. So part of the grading plan is to go ahead and grade this flat for if we have a building to put here in the future. Another part of this plan that doesn't involve fire is, you see here, this is a path. So this is part of our path master plan. It's part of the Mill Farm development that came in a couple years ago through annexation. This here, maybe a little further down right here, but this is the Rockaway Tunnel that goes from Walgreens over to Rockaway and over to the gates over there. This path would tie in, go this way and tie in back behind the fire property and then connect up here. And if you've been down to Mill Farms lately, they actually already have the path built to their property line to connect right here. We've already required all the easements to be able to do this path. I think we did it with the commercial property over here. So there's a couple of factors with this beyond just the fire, and especially this path back here. The reason I'm talking about this today is we are at the point in this project that we really need to bring an outside firm on, particularly a project management firm, as we don't regularly do commercial building construction projects on staff. I don't have a staff person that specializes in commercial construction. So I think there would be a lot of value in getting quotes. We've already talked with one firm, but going out, getting multiple quotes from project management firms, seeing their work, what they do, recommendations, and bringing back a recommendation to council to bring a project manager on board to get everything finalized, to bid out, and get this fire station constructed, basically to see it all the way through to the finish line until we can get firefighters in there. If you want to go to the next document I had too, and zoom in on that a little. So this would be the inside of the fire station, and it's a little tilted, so like 74 would actually be over to the right on this one. The drive would come around here, and this would be your bays. So these are your 3 bays. They did the measurements of different fire trucks. This is the length of an aerial. Is that correct, Chief? So like this rectangle here, we would be able to fit the longest vehicle we have, which is an aerial. This is the day room with a commercial kitchen. They have the commercial washer dryer here for the turnout gear. This is the bunks with residential washer dryer because they work 24-hour shifts with restrooms and showers, gym, a couple of offices for the officers. So I know Chief, you've been to a couple conferences like just specifically on how to build a fire station, and some of your staff has too. So yourself and Dave, and I don't forget you, Dave. Yourself and Dave and CPL has really, I guess over the past 2 years with Station 86 and with this one, worked on what we want this floor plan to look like, and this is what has come out of it. But right now it's time for us to get a project manager on board and me come back to y'all with a recommendation, and let's get this project done. And we'll field any questions you have.
Wonderful. Council?
Justin, why don't we have anybody that can specialize in project management? We do a lot of construction, and we're always going out to pick up an outside contractor to do that project management.
Councilman Holland and I talked yesterday about this. Not to say we couldn't. I mean, we could get a staff person. It would cost us money, to have it of somebody on salary to specialize in these kind of things. I'm not sure that we have. I know probably over the next couple of years we probably will, but in history's past, we don't have these type of projects that probably would justify having someone on staff ongoing, especially for new construction. We do have staff that does our maintenance and works on our current buildings, but constructing a new building like this, it's not a typical project we do every year.
We're not going to build a fire department every year.
Right.
We have a lot of projects that
we do have a lot of projects.
We have a lot of project management requirements.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and some of the recommendations on the rec master plan, some other public safety stuff we have right now, we probably it's up to council at the end of the day, but we probably could, over the next few years, justify having someone fully on staff that specializes in this. But I guess my argument is in our history, we haven't had these type of projects consistently.
I think we
Does
need
that
to
make
start
sense?
looking into it.
We can talk about it for budget time.
Yeah.
My only concern when this came out was that, you know, a project manager had been recommended from Fayette and Coweta counties, and I wanted to make sure we did not get the project manager from the animal shelter.
Yes. Yeah, the one we talked to, you asked that question, and I told you, said, yes, the project manager we talked to that's done some projects for Fayette County, the first question we asked was, were they involved with the animal shelter?
That's a
And they
great
said,
point.
and they
That's a
said,
great
no, and they
point.
said no.
And sometimes they specialize. You know, there are contractors that would specialize in fire stations or what have you. But I think the two of you have it that Justin could maybe give that some consideration.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Good.
Well, so based on what I'm hearing, I will proceed with, specifically for this project,
Yes. Oh,
looking at project management firms that could handle something like this, and then we can
Yes.
talk. We can talk about the future of a potential position during budget talks, if that's what council would like.
Okay.
I think you're looking for a person that has this expertise in doing these kinds of projects. I certainly would think that would be question number one. You know, have you done a fire station, and where is it, and what kind of results did you get, et cetera. But you know, what are the real needs, other than just management of the project? Is that something that's more generic in managing projects versus the construction people who you want to have knowing this project? A project manager should be able to manage almost any project, and that kind of goes along with what Councilman Stadio said, that maybe we ought to look at that in addition to going out to search for a project manager for this project. Maybe that would be the beginning of having a project manager on staff. And I know that's something we can all talk about, but I just, after he started to talk about that, it kind of spurred the question in my mind.
Sure.
We should be looking at that.
And just so we're clear too, the timeline of this project, I'm not going to give a definite timeline, but just generally the timeline would be come back with a recommendation for a project manager. Project manager would start to finalize everything, bid documents, get the bid out, depending on how we decide to do, what type of bid we decide to do, get the actual construction company on, award that bid. Then pretty much that's all council does, is it you award the final bid for construction, then the project manager takes it through with the construction company to completion.
Wonderful.
That's typical project
Yep,
management.
it sure is.
Okay. All right, new agenda item A, 22501, 114 Braylon Court, emergency pipe replacement.
Before Dave starts, I will say these next items are ones we actually want you to take action on today.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Justin. Previously, we had brought this project and the next project on the agenda to council just as a heads up that we had an emergency situation and we needed to take some action as soon as possible. This 114 Braylon Court project is, as you can see on the monitor there, this is a pipe system that's immediately right next to a home. Oops. Back up. And it's very close to the foundation of the home. We're worried about structural damage and whatnot, so we've brought this before council to get an emergency project done. We got a couple. We went to some contractors that had worked for us before. We had requested bids from Crawford Grading and McElroy, and we did not get a response back from McElroy, but we received one from Crawford Grading for $45,624 to replace this pipe. And the reason we only went to two is because the previous project we sent, or the other project, Parkgate Court, we sent it out to 4 companies, and we only received responses from Crawford and McElroy. So we we only sent it to them as well because they were the only interested parties. So due to the location of this project so close to the home, and it's rapidly deteriorating. Here's the pictures again of the pipe next to the home. We want to immediately award this to Crawford Grading for $45,624. And this will come from the stormwater utility funds for pipelining. There's plenty of funds in that account for this. And also, we have worked with Crawford Grading before, previously, and we're pleased with their work. Was there any questions on this project specifically?
Council, I'll start with a motion. Can I get a motion, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve item number 022501-114 Breland Court emergency pipe replacement.
In the amount of?
Oh, I forgot that. In the amount of $45,624.
To
$645.
To Crawford Grading and Pipeline.
My goodness, I got to get it all in there, don't I?
Two.
And Crawford Grading and Pipeline Incorporated.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? No.
Yeah.
Is this a total dig out replacement, or is this a slip lining?
Yes, sir. This is a total replacement. When you see pipes like that have no bottom to them, they're pretty much ineligible for lining. They have to be dug up.
All right. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item B, 22502, 37 Park Gate emergency pipe replacement.
Okay. This project is the other project that we had given council the heads up on before. The grassed area on the left is the dam structure itself. The pipe goes under the road here, and there's homes immediately downstream. The issue with this one is that the pipe underneath the dam is so bad, and we're getting erosion through the dam. We're afraid of a dam breach, basically, and that could wipe out the road, or it could flood the homes downstream. So this one we would also like to pursue as an emergency project. Again, we asked 4 contractors, received two quotes. The low quote being $313,140 from Crawford Grading also. So we're recommending we award this to them. The other bid was from McElroy, and it was $594,000. So considerably more. We're recommending going with Crawford again because we've worked with them before and have a good relationship with them. This will also come out of the pipelining line item in the stormwater utility fund, and there is adequate funding in there for this.
Council, can I get a motion, please?
Madam Mayor, I'll try one more time to get it right this time. I make a motion we approve item number 022502 at 37 Pine Gate emergency pipe replacement in the amount of $313,140 to Crawford Grading and Pipeline Incorporated. Did I get it right that time?
Thank you. Can I
Okay,
get a
good.
second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Item C, 22503, budget amendment, fiscal year 2024 hotel, motel, and CERT grant. Good morning, Dustin.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. It's an honor to be here today. It's my first time presenting to you. I'm here to present some budget amendments for your approval. As you know, we're required to have a balanced budget in accordance with our annual audit. So this first amendment reflects an increase in revenue beyond our projections and in these specific funds. So we also have to have corresponding expenditures, increase in expenditure budgets for these funds because they're pass-through budgets. So you have any questions about this?
No, that's wonderful. We have received 27,500 more collections than we anticipated.
Yes, in the hotel motel fund.
Yes.
And we've allocated those out for spending?
Yes.
Okay. So we're
Yes.
getting the credit.
We
the
take in
debit
hotel
going.
motel revenue and then we pass it out to the general fund, and then some goes to CVB and some goes to TPD fund. So we have to increase those expenditures in that fund for that.
So, council, what I need is, I need a motion to approve the budget amendment 2430 for this additional hotel motel collection.
Let you
So
guys go.
moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 All
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And item 22504, sponsorship acceptance and fiscal year 25 budget amendment. Dustin?
Yes, this next amendment is for donation for the father-daughter dance. Maria Puckett, as you all know, is with Recreation. She does a fantastic job receiving donations for us for our events. So this is a donation from Mahaffey and Linkus Orthodontics for $1,000. As with any donation, we require formal approval to accept these funds. And this amendment will increase both the revenue and expenditures in the general fund for these donations.
Thank you. Can I get an approval to, can I get a motion to approve the budget amendment for acceptance of a $1,000 sponsorship?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Council staff topics, I just want to mention Slice of the City is coming up. Here we go again. It's a new year. We're going out to all the villages. Staff does a great job, and they'll be at the Kedron Fieldhouse on February 26th, starting 5:30 until 7 o'clock p.m. Our TAG group has 3 openings. Applications are open right now for any of our citizens who have an interest in paths, roads, and related safety. Check us out on the Peachtree City website. And finally, PTC 101 is accepting applications for about another week and a half, again, through our website. It's a great 8-week program.
I think we've got close to 50 applicants already. for that.
Amazing. That is
PTC 101.
amazing. It's a great program.
Do we have room for all of that?
I
or is
don't
it-
know.
No.
Okay, so you're gonna, how many are you gonna accept?
We'll accept all of them if they
Ah.
come.
We'll see.
We don't have the
We
room,
do
but
it. We do it in here.
We'll
Good.
see.
Great.
Any other council staff topics?
I have a couple.
Yeah.
First, just on the sideline, because we were talking about the Slice, can we make sure in the immediate future that we put the word out about the senior citizen property tax exemption application deadlines?
Yeah.
It's already out.
Okay. Can we make sure that we're like broadcasting that? Because I think it's the end of April, or, I mean, there
April
is,
1st.
it comes up, yeah.
So moved.
Yeah, really? Good for you, Frank. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk about, when Darren Polish approached me about the litter issue, I knew I was not the only one to see litter as a growing problem that we need to address. And although I joked about him that I didn't have a swatter big enough for litter bugs, I knew we needed to bring this to council to work on the issue. So what exactly is the issue? People young and old are littering on our streets, roads, and paths, and in our lakes, streams, and parks. It's unsightly, it's unhealthy, and it's not what Peachtree City is all about. We cannot preserve the beauty of our city if we allow people to litter. So, I mean, I could ask Chief Moon, are there any tickets that are being written for littering each year? And chances are there are probably very few. Then the other question would be, maybe we need to get the point across that littering is against the law. Do we need more signs about littering and the penalty for littering? And I may have a suggestion, because I don't like to bring a problem without a suggestion. So I want to know if we should ask our first-rate, award-winning media team to put together a couple of video clips that we can put out onto all forms of social media, such as the Slice, Nextdoor, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter. Pick one, and have media options going out to highlight that littering is bad and it hurts the environment. As a child, I remember an owl character or advertisement that told us, "Give a hoot, don't pollute." We don't see that anymore. I also am old enough to remember the Native American sitting on the hillside with a tear on his cheek about the litter. But those commercials are nowhere to be found anymore. So we have an entire generation that are not being taught that littering is bad. So there were commercials before on TV and magazines, radio. I think we have nothing to lose and everything to gain by doing some video clips. And some should be aimed at children, others at parents. And videos aimed at parents should encourage the parents to teach their children to not litter. Or have the child teach the parent that littering is bad, which I think is, either option is good, workable. So some should be quick TikTok type videos, very short little clips. And although it may not totally fix the problem, it might help. And that's a risk I think that we need to take. So let's challenge our staff to find a great slogan, a catchy phrase, maybe even a talking peach to remind everyone not to litter. So does anybody agree that we could ask our staff to do this?
I certainly would, because I'm involved, or have been involved, sometimes involved still to this day. We have a program at the Knights of Columbus where we go out once a month and pick up litter on Peachtree Parkway between 54 all the way up to Walt Banks Road. And that gets picked up once a month, all the litter on both sides. But there's a nice lining on this. If you do that, you actually can get a credit, I don't know how much it is exactly, on your stormwater bill. And I would encourage other community people here in the city to get involved in picking up litter, because it really doesn't take that long. We do the one at that short distance I just told you. It takes about 20 minutes, and we're done picking up the litter once a month.
And we have breakfast at Mimi's.
Yeah, and then we go out for breakfast at Mimi's. So it costs us more than what we get back. But we have fun. It's good camaraderie. We all get out and pick up the stuff. And I would encourage that for other organizations to pick up a section of the city, and that's going to be their section, to go and pick up the litter. That's all. Just adding on to yours, I certainly agree with Councilman Brown that we should bring that up at a later date.
So as staff, I like the idea of a promotional campaign and doing videos. I think that would be more effective than putting signs up on the road.
Oh, yes.
People don't read
Oh, yeah.
signs.
No.
So I like that idea. And I do think, I was going to mention, Councilman Holland, we do have programs for people to get incentives back for litter pickup and get involved with KPTCB. Like anybody can volunteer with Al, and they do litter pickup for us as well. So that's what I did give my email address to Mr. Daniel, who was here earlier, because I want to get in touch with him and maybe have him sit down with me and Al. But I think all this is good. I think, yeah. And also, one thing I did want to mention too, I think we have done some proactive things with raising the trash fee to once a month. That's going to help Al tremendously with KTPCB, because one thing he did complain about is they're having to spend so much time with the cardboard at the site that they're not getting out as much as they used to. So I think raising that up and giving them more funds is going to help with this. But all the volunteerism we can have will be tremendous as well if we could get the word out.
All right. Any others?
I don't have anything.
I have one thing.
Okay.
I just wanted to, I introduced Ms. Shayla Reed to you all individually, but I wanted to introduce her formally. She's our new Planning and Development Director, started Monday. So we're very excited to have her here and get her up and running with you all and with the Planning Commission. We have a lot of things we're working on right now, the UDO that the Planning Commission just started, and a boundary study that we have budgeted to go out. So a lot of stuff for her to work on, and we're excited to have her here.
Welcome. Welcome, Shayla.
Welcome to the team.
Anything else, Justin? All right. Anybody else? Do you have anything?
No.
All right. Do we have an executive? All right. Do we
We
have
do,
an
Mayor,
executive?
and it's the first one for my career. It's under OCGA 50-14-3, paragraph B5, where council can have an executive session to discuss cybersecurity plans and procedures.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
So moved on that.
No, you have to outline
I
it.
have to
think.
actually do that. You gotta have me stumble through it
Cybersecurity
again.
plans and procedures.
Okay. Madam Mayor, do we go into executive session for cybersecurity discussions,
Plans and procedures.
plans and procedures?
Can I get a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are in executive.